Hola amigos, this is Level 12, and today we are going to be talking about something very near and dear to my heart, and that is my love for Richard Dawson. Now, y'all don't know who that is. I'm just gonna go out and say it. Most of y'all probably don't know who that is, and that's fine. I can live with that. But, I just gotta talk about him, because it's been a month, and I just recently got to watch Match Game when she was one of the most beloved stars on there. And so, how did I learn of this man by the name of Richard Dawson? Well, back when I had cable, we had this channel called the Gameshow channel, and at late at night it would show old game shows like old Match Game, old Let's Make a Deal. I think they even had like very early versions of the Wheel of Fortune. It just old classic game shows, and I don't remember him specifically. I remember Gene and Brett and Charles, but I don't remember Richard too well for some reason. But that's the first time I like saw him when I was, I don't know, 12, 13 probably. And then we now have an antenna, and at 10 o'clock the show called Hogan's Heroes would come on, and Richard Dawson was on it. He had a very nice Cockney accent, which was fake because he's not from Cockney or from that area where you would attain that accent. And then we got Pluto, which had a channel dedicated to nothing but classic game shows, and it had the original Family Feud, which Richard Dawson was the host, and the original Match Game, which again, Richard Dawson was one of the most beloved stars on there that you could try and match with. I fell in love with him through those things. Just his personality, his suave, he's very nice. It's just, I will get into it. It's a lot. He's a great man. Anyway, so just a quick, brief history of Richard Dawson's biography, and then we'll get into his showbiz biography. So he was born in Gosport, Hampshire, in England on November 20th, 1932, and he was obviously born, he lived during World War II times, and it said that during those times he probably went to school consecutively for like 2 years. So he didn't really have the best education growing up. He ran away from home to join the British Merchant Navy, and he started a boxing career there. Later, he changed to his comedy career using the name Dickie Dawson. Oh yeah, his real name isn't Richard Dawson. I forget what it is, but there's some history with that, and he doesn't like to go by that, so I'm not going to put it in this video. You can find it when you search Richard Dawson, but I will not be spreading that around. So he originally started using the name Dickie Dawson before changing it to the more mature version, Richard Dawson, and Dickie is a nickname for Richard. I don't know why, but it is. And he appeared on many shows as bit parts or on talk shows before starring in his first big role as Peter Newkirk in Hogan's Heroes. Hogan's Heroes, I've made a video on that. I'll link it down below. But he originally tried out for not Peter Newkirk's role, but for Colonel Hogan's role, the main guy, and he didn't get that. One, because he didn't sound American enough, and two, you cannot replace Bob Crane as Colonel Hogan. I'm sorry, but no one could have done it better than Bob Crane. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot with this. But he did that from 1965 to when the show finally went off in 1971, and it was very successful when it was on. It got nominated a bunch of people won awards from it. I don't think he specifically won an award from it, but whatever. So after that, he entered the game show scene, as a lot of older stars, after they stopped getting consecutive TV show roles or movie roles, they would do game shows, which kind of still happens today, but it was very common back in the day for old TV stars to be part of game shows and help contestants and stuff like that, like the Hollywood Squares. That's a big popular one. Anyways, he played on many short-lived game shows before signing on as a regular on Match Game 73, and he was on there for 3 years until Dawson finally wanted his own show, and Mark Goodson and Bill Todman, I think, were the two big game show guys, and he was like, hey Mark, I want to do my own game show, and he started doing both Match Game and what would become Family Feud in 1976, and he did both shows, Match Game, I believe, in a week they would film 12 episodes and then take a break, film 12 More. That's how that show was done. Family Feud, I think, was a nightly show. I'm not entirely sure, but he was doing both of those, and he later did drop Match Game in 1979 due to stress. There are other factors why he dropped Match Game. One of them is Match Game brought out this thing called the Star Wheel, because if you don't know how Match Game worked, it would be 2 contestants. For 2 rounds, you would try to match like 1 to 6 celebrities. There were 6 celebrities. You tried to match as many of them as you could in the span of 2 rounds, and whoever had matched the most could play played super match, and then you got help from the celebrities to match one of the 3 choices, and then finally the head-to-head match, when you picked a single celebrity to try and match the head-to-head game. And most people picked Richard Dawson because he was suave, he was smart, he picked reasonable answers, he actually tried. There were some people on there that did it more for the comedy, and you can kind of tell they tried, but they were also just like, hey, Hollywood, look at me, I'm trying to be funny. It's a big thing, but Richard was the most popular one, and the other 2 regulars, Brett and Charles, were getting jealous. People were like, hey, I'm on here, I'm spending a week here, and I'm not getting picked. So they did this wheel thing. That made Richard and other stars kind of upset. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. And so the original Family Feud was canceled in 1984, and he started, and after that he started a movie, I believe 2 years later, called Running Man, where he played a crazy game show host. And Dawson's role as host was briefly reprised between 1994 and 1995, before he officially retired in 1999. Between 1994 and 1995, they thought by bringing him back the ratings would go up. That didn't happen, but, you know, he was the beloved host of Family Feud. He earned the nickname the Kissing Bandit because before the women gave their answers, he would kiss them. It was very comical. They asked him to stop, and he asked America, do you want me to stop? And they're like, no. It was very cute. He didn't kiss in his reprised version because he had promised his daughter not to kiss anyone, but his daughter's mother, who was his wife, they stayed married till he died in 2012. Yes, he's dead, and I'm sad. I love him anyways, but yeah, that was his deal with Family Feud. It's great. I love him. So, my love for him. Why specifically do I love this old dead guy? Well, it's very hard to explain. I don't know why. It's just he's very nice. He's good looking in his younger years. He's cool. He's just, and also I just love old things. I love the 70s and the 80s, and I know if I had been alive around then, I would have just loved him anyways. But it's this big thing, and I don't know why I 100% love him. It's just he seems so genuine and so kind, and you don't see that so much nowadays with current Hollywood actors. There's always these allegations coming out, or they're drug addicts, or they have an alcohol problem, or they've said racist, homophobic things. All of that usually comes out. And Richard Dawson, while yes, he has said some questionable things, especially during Match Game, some of the answers could get kind of questionable, but I chalk that up to it was the times. Like, even Charles Nelson Riley, who is a gay man, would say things like that. So part of me chalks that up to the time, but Richard never had full blown out allegations against him. Yes, the kissing thing is kind of creepy, and some people nowadays would be like, that's kind of creepy, but whatever. There are a few bad things I do know of him, like on the set of Hogan's Heroes, he could be kind of demanding when people would trip over lines and stuff. He was, I guess, maybe a drama queen. I'm not entirely sure. Those are just things I've heard. Match Game, in his final years, he was very, sullen. He was brooding all the time. In the last, 2 years he did the show, it wasn't a fun experience for anyone, and he really cheated the fans. Those aren't his good qualities, but overall, the overarching sense of Richard Dawson, he was a very sweet guy. He tried. He loved his fans. He loved people. He was just a great guy, and he did all he could to help the people on Family Feud and on Match Game, and it's just, he's great. His legacy and his classicness, I want to live on in Hollywood. I just love. He brings this old classic Hollywood vibe, and it's just, I love that. I love it, and he's great. He's eternal in my eyes. Well, I only have about 30 seconds left in my recording software before I have to cut the video. This is the first video I'm making since I've been back from school. I'm really excited. This is not the first one you see. This will probably be the third one, and by then I'll be gearing up to come back home, but it's been great. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more random fandom things. Ciao, chicos.